Hello everyone, and welcome back to a second video on becoming a Node.js and NPM expert. My GitHub username is nickfv. You can find it on the link here. And this time, let's actually build something in Node.js. So as I recommended in my last video, you can either install NPM and Node.js through the official Node.js website, or you can install this command line tool called nvm, which is a little bit more complicated to get set up the first time, but once it becomes time to upgrade your Node.js version, it'll come in a lot more handy because you can run a simple script to install the newest version, and it'll keep all of your prior versions of Node.js and NPM, and you can switch back and forth at any time. And it does have some very detailed installation instructions, which I'm not going to run right now because I've already installed it, but you can find it all in here. Once you've installed NVM, you can check to make sure that it installed properly by using nvm --version. And just know that this version number is the version of NVM itself and not Node.js or NPM. If you want to install Node.js, you can just do nvm install and then install --lts to get the latest version with long-term support, which is currently version 20.11.1. And I've already installed it, so nothing happened. But what I can do is I can check what versions are currently installed with nvm ls. So you can see I've already installed version 20.11.1. So I can also check to see what version of Node I'm using with the command node --version. You can see that it agrees with what nvm says, and I can double check npm as well, which is 10.4. You can see it up here and down here. So now I have node and npm as commands I can use in the terminal. So now I can start setting up a project. So I've opened up an empty project folder in Visual Studio Code where I'm going to use to build our first project. So the first thing I'm going to do is run the command npm init. And when I run that, it'll go through a list of steps, like asking what I want to call the package name. So I'll just say example, the version. If you press enter, it'll just keep the default, in this case 1.0.0. I can optionally add a description, or if I press enter, it'll leave it blank. And it'll also ask for an entry point, and I'll leave that at the default as well. I can also add a test command, but right now we don't have any files to test, so I'm going to leave that blank as well. Git repository, I'll leave that empty. Keywords, empty. Author, I can put my GitHub username, license, and if everything looks okay, you can type yes or just press enter one more time. And what happened is that it created this file right here called package.json. This basically tells Node and NPM that this directory is a Node project. See how it actually created a test command just saying that there's no test specified, but we can actually run that test using npm. So we can say npm test, and we'll get the error no test specified. So that's where that comes from. So anyway, now we can start writing some JavaScript. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and knowing that my main file is index.js, I'm going to just go index.js. And I'll just do a simple hello world. Now if I do node index.js, I will get hello world coming from here. But since index.js is my main file, there's a special command I can do, node space period, which will just run the main file. So the main advantage of using Node and NPM is that you can install dependencies with a very simple command, npm I, and then your dependency name. And so I'm going to use one of mine as an example called smath or smath. Enter, and it added one package. So if I go into package.json, it added these new lines here, dependencies, smath, and then the version number. I also have package lock, and I also have node modules, which contains all the smath source code. So in index, I could import smath, and because I am using this kind of import statement, this is a JavaScript module, so I'm going to have to change the type to module. Where common JS, you'd use the require statement, but since I'm using import, it's a module. So now, since I've imported smath, I can use any one of the functions in the smath library. So for example, let's take an average. Let's see if that works with node dot. And I have the average of my data set. So it's really that easy. All you need to do is install dependencies, and then you'll have immediate access to all of the functions that it provides you. Just make sure not to commit the node modules directory to GitHub, because it gets very big very quickly. And with that, that's the end of this quick tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.